Alright everybody, what's going on? How you all doing? I love me some Fairy Tail. It was, to be honest with you guys, the first time I found Fairy Tail was through the anime, and it was pretty close to 100 episodes in when I first found it. I believe I was still in high school at the time, and I really loved Fairy Tail. It was only more recently that I started reading the manga, and I'm really liking the manga. What I really like about Fairy Tail is the nice, consistent art, the characters, and then overall, I think overall the arcs in Fairy Tail have been some of my more favorite arcs in anime and manga. The arcs have been more consistent. There have been a few arcs within Fairy Tail, like the Grand Magic Games, for example, that I wasn't too big of a fan of. I think the Grand Magic Games is one of those where if you watched it in one sitting, it'd be really good. But waiting week to week for an episode of that arc was just kind of meh. But it's chapters like this that make me really understand why I like Fairy Tail. We get to see Makarov saved after, what's the dude's name? Mest, I believe is what his name was, the dude that can teleport, who he saved. Makarov, we get to see Makarov. He sees the original team of Fairy Tail come back. And it's just nice to see all of them come together again. It's nice to see Makarov. He's there crying. He pretty much doesn't know what to do anymore. And then we get to see that Mr. Sand Guy douchebag from this new kingdom follows them. And he's got a pretty interesting set of skills just from the few powers he showed us in this chapter, which was pretty interesting. The sand power is going to be really interesting, I think. But when they start, I like it when he first shows up. Natsu does that thing again where he's grabbing his arm. I want to know what is up with his arm. I want to know what's going on with that. I want to know what's underneath those bandages. But then they all start running away, and I thought it was pretty interesting to see those cars again where it hooks up to their wrist, and I believe it absorbs their magic power in order to run. It's been a while since I've seen one of those, and I'm pretty sure we've seen it since then, but the last time I remember seeing one of those was in the very beginning of the series in like the first arc, which was weird. That's a weird concept to me. It's just like sucks your magic abilities and stuff like that. I'm going on random tangents here. Fairy Tail just gives me good memories, but when they start running away, we get to see Mr. Sand Guy chase after them. Looks like he summons a giant troll, which the art on that thing was really cool. I really like the design for that thing. But then we get to see Gray and Lucy get on top of the carriage car thing, whatever you want to call it, and then they both bring out their powers. Lucy pretty much adorns this type of armor with a bow, and then Gray brings out that weird ability. I don't even know exactly what that is. I don't know if that... I know we've seen it in the past when Gray first showed up after the time skip, but I don't exactly remember what it is. I don't know if they've explained that. My memory is pretty shitty when it comes to that type of stuff, so... But we get to see Gray bring that out, and we get to see that he pretty much freezes the whole sand troll, whatever you want to call that thing, and then Mr. Sand Guy jumps off and sends a swarm of, like, sand bats or birds, and Lucy just hits all of them, and I thought that scene in particular was a good showcase just to show how much Lucy has grown. After the time skip, it pretty much said that Lucy has been pretty much training in secret, but we didn't really get... It kind of felt like, oh, you know, I've been training too. Like, it didn't really feel like something she actually did. Of course, we know to an extent she did because she can get these different types of armors and stuff like that. Kind of like Urza, but probably not nearly as powerful as her. But we got to see that a little bit, but it didn't really feel like Lucy trained or still was that strong. It still felt like she was lagging behind quite a bit. But in that one panel, I definitely felt like Lucy did grow a significant amount to where I'm able to believe it now. And then even Makarov is shocked that the magic power of Lucy and Gray is completely different than it was before the time skip. And he is just crazy. And this whole time, Natsu and Wendy are just sitting there along for the ride. I always love scenes like that. Fairy Tail's little insertion of comedy here and there is pretty funny. But then Mr. Sand Douchebag decides to create a giant, like, quicksand pit or whatever. And getting straight to the point, after Mr. Sand Guy decides to talk some more shit, like Natsu isn't going to be able to back anything up, Natsu just vaporizes all of the sand, and God damn, I love Natsu. He is just, I really like Gray. Gray used to be like one of my favorite characters in the show, and he still is one of my favorite characters, but Natsu just kicks it up a notch each time, and I like that, and I can't wait to see what Natsu can do. And I really liked it when Natsu just moved so fast, he punched Mr. Sand Douchebag in the face, and that's pretty much where the chapter ended. And overall, this was a good chapter. I mean, a little bit of confrontation, some dialogue and stuff like that. We get to see some more of the sand abilities that this guy has, which is one thing I said in one of my earlier chapter reviews that I wanted to see. I wanted to see more of their powers, and his sand powers, if I can learn how to talk, seemed pretty cool, and I can't wait to see what he can do in a full-out battle if we're going to get to that, which it seems like we are. It doesn't seem like Fairy Tail has much of a means to escape right now. Mest said that he could teleport them like one more time to the boat, but I'm not sure if they're going to be taking advantage of that or if they're going to be fighting. The chapter kind of ended to where it looks like they have no choice but to fight, but I'm sure they're going to drag this out a little bit. Fairy Tail's going to escape, and they're going to have to go back, or maybe they're going to invade fucking Britannia, whatever their capital or country is called. I can't remember exactly, but overall, really good chapter. I'm going to give this one about, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. Really good chapter. Some good dialogue with a little bit of confrontation, and you know, the display of power for Lucy and Gray was just good. Even if it was just a split second, I really liked their display of power, and it did make me believe that Lucy just isn't dragging behind anymore. She's actually going to be more of a contribution than she has been in the past, and I really like that. But thank you all so much for watching this video. I hope you all enjoyed. If you all like this video, if you guys give it a like or subscribe, I would very much appreciate it. And thank you all so much for the amazing love and support you've left on all the previous videos. It has been awesome. I love you all, and we'll see you all next time. I am out.